how it can support you, and hopefully also be a fun activity for you as you're working through this course. You can see that I'm in our shared Google folder, Writer Studio. Here we are, Writer Studio Helpful Documents. My computer sometimes goes a little bit more slowly when I'm recording, so hang with me. And then I've pulled up the Writer's Journal Strategies. Okay, this document here, which you should not only have access to, but you should be able to comment on. So if you have a question about something, go ahead and ask in that way. Okay, so the first thing that you need to be thinking about is how you're actually going to keep your writer's notebook. And there are some pros and cons to all of these different ways. I personally have a sort of combined system of writing by hand and using Google Documents and these 4 applications. So think about that. The thing with an old-fashioned, with an actual physical notebook, is that sometimes writing things down just sort of induces a different state of mind and thinking and allows you to get some ideas on the page that perhaps you wouldn't come up with just looking at a blank document with a blinking cursor. Okay, it also seems to help jog my memory. And sometimes looking through at the physical pages helps me think about my own ideas and make different connections between ideas that can sometimes be harder using online platforms. Okay, so think about that. Would you want to go out and buy a Moleskine? Just keep your notes there and slide some notes and some post-it notes in there accordingly, but just keep the physical document of it. Or a 3-ring binder where you are keeping everything really hyper organized if that's the kind of writing personality that you think you might have. Okay, another option is to use a Word document, just one long Word document, or a hyperlinkable Google document. So here I'm just mimicking, what if this is my writer's journal? You know, in this way I can add pictures, links to other websites or articles that I've been thinking about, and I can do it in a really simple way by just putting the date. Here's just a sort of rambling thought entry I might have had as I began this course and started to think about the writing projects we'll be doing. Then I can insert another horizontal line and then just go Thursday and so forth. Or whatever date I happen to be using it next. And this way, the thing that I like about this as well is that I can pull this up on my smartphone or from my drive in the library or wherever I happen to be. Okay, sometimes I have some great ideas in my writer's notebook, the physical one, and then I'm in the library and I don't have it, and that's frustrating. Actually, if you have that same problem, you might think about using the physical notebook and then uploading some pictures of really important entries to another application. Okay, so how are you going to do this? Old-fashioned notebook, Google document. You might think about using Evernote, which I've discussed in more detail in the blog entry, where you probably found this same video, so you'll know where to find that. The thing that I like about Evernote is that I think you can keep a notebook kind of like a journal alongside other binders of information, electronic binders. I think about Evernote as sort of a update on the old-fashioned note card organization. So I used to do research on note cards and I would label the top of them according to subject and have them in a little organizer. Evernote sort of does this, makes this more seamless for you, okay? Instapaper is also a really great way to be keeping articles that you're reading and comments on articles and really make it easier to read and easier to find. So let me know if you have any questions about Instapaper, including how to send some articles direct to a Kindle if you have one. Sometimes I prefer, if I'm doing a lot of research, reading a large or lengthy article on my Kindle rather than a screen. So there are a lot of different apps out there. You probably know a lot about them, but these are some that have been really helpful to me. Okay, once you decide how you're going to have a writer's notebook, you need to use it. Okay, and again, I want you to remember that this space is for you. If you're a goal-oriented person and you want to have the goal of using it twice a week, by all means go about it that way. I think using it as a space that you come to as often as possible For instance, a brainstorming activity, maybe you have to write a post for a discussion and you're not really sure what you want to write about. Maybe you start in your writer's notebook. And maybe you have it here in your journal and then you can copy and paste it into the discussion board. Okay. A free write, and again, I would really suggest that you do this on paper. And if you're having a interactive online journal, you might take a picture of that piece of paper. A free write is a really good way to get your mind going, to start percolating on an idea, and to sort of free yourself of any pressure before you're beginning a writing assignment. That's when you literally sit down, you give yourself a timer, a prompt if you want, and you write for that given amount of time without lifting up your pen. So you might start to write, ugh, my dog is barking, stop barking, Lorca. Or you might write, I'm hungry. But the point is that you do not pick up your pen, and hopefully in this way, you jostle some ideas out of your brain. Okay? So you might also use your notebook for drafting, to log questions, to organize your research, to begin thinking about what kind of interview questions you might ask someone when you're conducting primary research, to collect random inspiration. Okay, use it however it most helps you, but don't start it and then forget about it, because then when you get to project one, you will find that you have a harder time getting started. Okay. Also, once you have written in it and collected all these things, remember to review your writer's notebook. Okay, maybe you're between classes or sitting on the light rail and you have all this information with you. Going over, reviewing these notes, rereading your ideas is going to be a really great way to start making connections, formulating, the beginning of what might turn out to be a thesis or at least an investigative question. And I recommend that you don't use it and then forget about it, okay? So again, the theme of this video is the writer's notebook is here to support you. All right, feel free to comment on any other suggestions that you have on how you might use your writer's notebook,